Welcome to the Draw Club podcast with myself, Zane Scotland. This is episode 3. We're going to be covering, as we have the first couple of weeks, we're going to start off with a professional golf roundup, moving on to some insights, what's going on in golf, what I've been working on, what I've seen, and then we're going to finish up or round up with what's coming up, and also with some of the questions that you guys have very kindly sent in and cover some of those. So let's start with the PGA Tour. PGA Tour was in Palm Beach Gardens, formerly known as the Honda Classic. When I grew up, that's what it was. It then has become the Cognizant. Palm Beach Gardens, very difficult golf course, is known or is famous for having something called the Bear's Trap. The Bear's Trap is the last 3 holes. Each hole has water down the right-hand side, par 4, par 3, par 5 finish. It does normally throw up some drama, and it threw up drama this week. It was actually quite a tough watch seeing what happened. The eventual winner was Nico Echevarria. Fantastic goal from him. Big comeback on the last day. Wasn't really in it for most of the day, but not in it, not by his own design, just because Shane Lowry was really doing the business. You know, Shane Lowry, Open champion, won the Irish Open as an amateur, Ryder Cup hero, 3 shots in the lead, deep into the back 9. It just seemed done. You know, this guy, you know, he can play under pressure, clearly. He was the man to hold the winning Ryder Cup putt. He was the man who was able to bring home an Open championship on Irish soil. But for some reason, this tournament has just eluded him. It was a few years ago, I remember watching, he was leading, had a bit of a rough finish, and then I believe he needed to birdie the last to get into a playoff at this same tournament. And unluckily to him, being in the last group, the heavens just opened up, which turned the last hole in from a reachable par 5 into now a par 5 that was out of reach. He hit it into the bunker. Anyway, he didn't make birdie, didn't win. So he obviously likes the course. It suits him. He's had good scores here. With 3 holes to play, with all that backup of who he is, what he's done, he had a 3-stroke lead. It was done. He looked confident. Knocking in putts, walking them in, a couple of little fist pumps. Yeah, he's a big-time player. But one bad swing on the 16th hole, and it all came tumbling down. It's a par 5, iron off the tee. He's got a driving iron, a graphite driving iron, which he's normally very, very good with. Just trying to hit one of those nice little knuckleballs down there. Leaves the face open, ball carts off right into the water early, which means he now can't get on in 2. So he's taken his drop. He's then knocked, let's say, a 9-iron back into the fairway. Got the thing back in play. So he's 1 into the water, dropped 2, 3 back into the fairway. A pretty decent length approach in. Pin his front left, pulls it left into a terrible spot into the bunker on the downslope. No green to work with. You're thinking, this is a nightmare. Waltz is in there, you know, a nightmare shot for most people, and just plays that nice, wristy, long, languid shot off the downslope, flicks it just over the lip, a real nervy shot, trickles down to, let's say, 3-4 feet, rolls it in. Double bogey, but a massive damage limitation. He's still got a 1-stroke lead. And then playing partner, Echevarria, then steps up on 17. So 17 is roughly, let's say, playing about 185 yards, all water down short and right of the green. Wind whipping in from the left. The wind's getting quite strong now, and the pin is tucked front right. Watching the golf on the broadcast, hits a lovely shot, starts middle of the green, starts fading on the wind, and it just looks like it's going to go in the water. Thing just clears. Wow. Just clears, comes down 10, 12 feet. Big smile on his face, you know, kind of heart pumping out the chest, rolls it in for birdie. Shane Lowry steps up, thinking, right, this is a similar sort of shot. There's plenty of room left. He's level, tied for the lead. Echevarria, was playing right in front of him. So he's on 18. He's tied for the lead. And you're looking at it thinking, just hit this thing on the left fringe, wherever it's got to be. For whatever reason, the ball starts on the pin with a fade on the left-right breeze and just goes way into the drink. nightmare, double bogey, shoulders go down. Echevarria makes par at the last. Shane Lowry now 2 black playing the last hole, hits his drive up there, second shot into the fairway bunker, has about a 35-yard bunker shot, plays a really nice bunker shot. If anyone's going to hold it to get into a playoff, it's going to be Shane Lowry. It doesn't go in. It rolls just by. It did actually have a look on the way by, and it was just a crushing loss for him, to be honest. And that was followed by an interview afterwards where he kind of shared that, the thing that hurt him most was that his young daughter was there to see him win or to watch him play, and he wasn't able to pull it off. So, money is a huge part to it, but in the forefront of his mind, he's thinking how that, just what it does to all of us, really. What do people think of us? What we put so much on how we play, and it becomes so important to us. And he wasn't able to do it in front of his daughter. But he said that what to do. Just got to move on and get on with it. Which is, you got to respect it. He's come out obviously absolutely gutted, done the interview, been very open about it all, and then taking the attitude. You've got to keep going. You've got to dust yourself off and keep going. Which I think if you look at Tommy Fleetwood's near misses last year, he would always come out and do an interview afterwards, and he would be very open, very vulnerable about maybe being nervous, not being able to get the job done. But you know what? Oh, this is setting me up for the future. Or you know what? It is what happens. I'm just going to accept it, which does essentially then set him up for the future. He went on to win the FedEx. Not that Shane Lowry needs to prove himself in any way. I did feel like with Tommy, you felt like his talent and his ability was slightly higher than what he was achieving, what he'd achieved. So, more of a testament to him that he hadn't won the biggest tournaments, and then he went on to win the FedEx Cup. Shane Lowry is in a bit of a different boat. He's won the Open, he's won his home Open. He made Holden one on some of the most iconic golf courses and venues in the world. He's hold a putt to win the Ryder Cup, which seems to be a real Irish thing. If you look at Chris O'Connor Jr., Paul McGinley, Shane Lowry, the Irishmen have done very well for us down the stretch in the Ryder Cup. So he's got nothing to prove, but still, it hurts. He would have wanted to win, but not taking anything away from Echevarria in the fact that he kept it together, and to go ahead and birdie that 17th hole, the nervy 17th hole, was some feat. So fair play to him. And one other small story was Brooks Koepka shooting a 65 on Sunday was a bit of a story. There wasn't many big names other than Lowry, Koepka in the field, and good to see Koepka come back. He another one, he spoke about how nervous he felt coming back to the PGA Tour. So these mid-60s rounds, 65, 66s, 67s, just they're little settlers is what they are. And okay, he wasn't in contention, but could this be a sign for Brooks Koepka coming to majors this year? More competitive golf, more rounds, bit happier because of where he's playing, bit more true to himself, he probably feels. Had done it before in the majors. Could this guy be someone to look out for this year? Very possibly. It seems to be putting with Brooks. His ball striking is really good. I wouldn't say he doesn't have a very orthodox golf game. I would say he actually uses a lot of his strength and power. It would be the key to his game. I wouldn't say he has like a move that most people would copy, but knows where the middle of the club face is, has a real talent, can control his golf ball, hit it pretty far. They're pretty good, to be fair to you. Nice attributes to have. The main thing for him is his putting, and that's been a little bit up and down, but he's obviously finding something if he's able to shoot a 65 around a difficult golf course. So, yes, we'll leave it there for the PGA Tour. The DP World Tour was in South Africa. The Investec South African Open. We've had back-to-back winners, or winner, on the DP World Tour in Casey Jarvis. He's really enjoyed his time down in Africa this part of the year. Really good to see. He finished 14 under par, taking the title by 14 shots. 14 under par, taking the title by 3 shots. And there really is something about winning the week after you won, because when you win is hard, you get across the line, and for some players they take the week off, or they have a bit of decompress and doesn't quite happen. But there's something about coming back the next week and proving to yourself, proving to everyone around you that you are, at that time, the best player on that tour. And that's something that he's done, an outstanding victory. And importantly for him, that's got him qualification into the Masters. So well done to Casey Jarvis for his win there. There was no Live Golf League this week, but there has been a little bit of chat from Jon Rahm. I saw an interview about him chatting about his non-compliance he's not come to an agreement with the DP World Tour, as have the other players, as is Till Hatton et al. And he seems pretty firm. He said his mind has not changed in a week. He did give some details. He said that part of the agreement was he would have to play 6 tournaments. 2 of those tournaments, they would tell him where he had to play, so they would not be his choice. He did name a few tournaments. One of them, the main one being the Spanish Open, that he would love to play and would like to continue playing. But he still feels like he doesn't want to be dictated to where to go. He feels like he did actually say if they make it 4 events, he'll sign, he'll do it, but they have not come back to him yet. Should they come back? Should they go, right, this is Jon Rahm, major champion, could be a huge asset to the tour. Should he get different treatment to everybody else? It's an option. So it doesn't sound like it's anything to do with the money. He hasn't really shown any issue of having to pay the money. It's a bit more the principle. He did say that, use some strong language, saying that he feels like the tour are extorting the players to come and play for them. I think, personally, Live Golf have paid him an obscene amount of money to come and play in certain tournaments, and he has to play those tournaments, and he's contractually obliged to play those tournaments. Now, on the DP World Tour, there is not that guaranteed financial incentive. So that is, for me, is where it's a little bit different. He says he feels like he should be free to play wherever he wants. He's had dual membership in the past, the PGA Tour and DP World Tour. This would now be a third tour to be a member of. That is a nuance to me. That is slightly different. The Live Golf League have paid up front for Jon Rahm's time. The DP World Tour are providing a place to play. I think there is a stipend for players that are starting out, actually, which is possible for all players. But that's not the issue for Jon Rahm. He just doesn't want to be told where he has to play. I guess in respect, thinking, well, these guys have paid handsomely for my time and to tell me where to go. He probably feels like, and this is complete speculation, the DP World Tour are not following those same guidelines, so he feels like the agreement should be different. I'm interested to know what everybody thinks on that one. There was some interest, there was some comments on my socials about the last bit we did on Jon Rahm and Till Hatton. I think we now have a little bit further context. So I'm really interested to hear from everybody who's taking the time out of their day to listen to this. And I'd like some feedback on the Instagram, and I'll bring it up again next week. Hopefully we'll have some more information on that. So that's pretty much the roundup for professional golf. Up next on the PGA Tour is the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Fantastic event at Bay Hill. The players really get put through their paces there with the setup of the golf course. It's really set up like a major championship. The greens are hard, the rough's really thick. We've seen some great finishes down the years from Tiger Woods there with the par 4 around the water on the 18 hole. He's held some great putts down the green there, and that's going to. And Scotty Scheffler has also won there. That's a good sign. 2 good players have won there coming into the major season. So it's a really good test. I don't always like it because it doesn't always go their way, but it's a good test, and it's a good, maybe an insight to who's going to perform well at the upcoming Players and Masters tournaments. There is another tournament also on the DP World Tour, which is the Joburg Open. Sure, I should have known that. Joburg Open, which sets off on Thursday. And the Live Golf League is in Hong Kong this week to carry on their 4-round schedule and world ranking points. So Anthony Kim's first appearance. Anthony Kim's appearance since winning. They haven't played in between, so it'll be interesting to see, could he back it up? Could Anthony Kim do it all again? Could he take down Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and treat us to another story? Let's see. You've been following him on socials. He's a really good follow, Anthony Kim, actually. If you're into the golf swing, he's got a pure golf swing anyway, but every day he's just posting, ripping irons, ripping drivers on the range. He's been working really hard at Robbinswood. Claude Harmon, a friend of mine, he has an academy down there in Thailand, and Anthony's been down there. Anthony practiced at Claude's academy here in Dubai not long ago, and then he's now down in Thailand with his family at the amazing Robbinswood, where I believe the Icon Series was just recently. So he's down practicing down there, being looked after and working really, really hard. So yeah, that's a roundup of professional golf for this week. Let me get to some points. So what I've seen this week, just in coaching, and I've been working on my own game, but in the coaching side of things, something I've been thinking about for quite a while. And one thing I see with a lot of players is poor takeaway. Now, agreed, you don't hit the ball on the backswing, but essentially the golf swing is built up of numerous positions during the golf swing of which the club moves and the body moves through. The position of the back or the takeaway is one of those. So obviously you can have slightly different takeaways for different shots, but it needs to match your intention. If you can get step one right, i.e. the takeaway, well, actually, if we've been strict, it's step two. Step one is the address. If you can get step two right, which is the takeaway, I would put that as P2, which would be club level to the ground in the backswing, so about hand, hip height. Get that bit right. If that club's way too inside or way too outside, then you spend the rest of the backswing at least trying to compensate, trying to line the club up. Now, some players can do that and they actually use it to their advantage, but for the majority of players, a good takeaway is going to help your game. So you can put a camera down. Make sure when you put a camera down, you put it on line with your hands at about around hip height, and then see if the golf club, from a down the line view, if the club head covers the hands. Just working your takeaway. And the good thing about working on the takeaway is you can take that to the golf course. And that and the takeaway is one of the pieces. I think that the address position is first and foremost the part that I look at with people that set up in a way that doesn't match the intention of what they're trying to do. Once you have the address, let's just get the first bit of the swing right. The rest of the swing might be wrong, but let's just get the first bit right. That is one good bit of good housekeeping to be able to get at. So if you're going to go play this weekend or want something to go and work on your takeaway. Get that to match your intention. If you want to fade it, you might feel like it goes a touch outside, but at least it marries up. If you want to draw it, you might find that takeaway goes a bit more inside, but at least it marries up. For most people, just try and get a nice on-plane takeaway. From there, you've got a chance. So, and that's the nuance. I'm not saying everyone has to have the same takeaway, but have the takeaway match the shot you're going to hit. That is something you can really use. Then, other things I've been working on speed. So I put a post up this week. I've been working on speed personally, and this has been a really fun journey. We've got at 5 Iron here, we've got a coach called Tom Lewis, a really good coach, and he specialises in hitting the ball a long way. He's a long driver himself, and he's dedicated a lot of his trade and time into learning how to hit the ball further for his own game and importantly his clients, and he's really, really good. There are so many different ways. People say, how do you hit it further? There are so many different ways that are bespoke to an individual how to hit it further. But there are a few things which you're going to need to get. You're going to have to be pretty mobile. You're going to have a mindset which is to move the club fast. And I would say thirdly would be to just get out your comfort zone. So the bits that I've been working on is we've been using something called the Rotex Motion, which is like these 2 discs. Have a look on my Instagram. and 2 discs, and you kind of work some ability of you turn your foot one way and you're twisting your hips and your upper body to create mobility and coil. And that's been really liberating because you move your body into certain positions which are within their range, so not causing injury, but really prepping the body for how far and fast you can move with confidence, which is really big for me. You know, I'm 43 now and had back issues, essentially retired because of back issues. So there is a little bit of like, if I go too hard, I might injure myself. But that's really helped my confidence. The next part has been, so that's goes into mobility. The next part has been the mentality. So if you want to swing the club faster and hit the ball further, your max speed has to be high. It's important to understand there's a difference between your max speed and your playing speed. So you tend to see that a playing speed would be about 5 miles per hour less than the max speed. So for instance, if you're swinging at 100 miles per hour and you want to swing at 105, you need your max speed to be about 110 miles per hour. So when you go on the golf course and it feels smooth and controlled, it'll be 105. Not long ago, I was about 112 when I felt like I was really going at it. And so my playing speed was around 108, 107, which, you know, is okay. But, you know, I'm a professional golfer and ex-tour player, so it wasn't very satisfying. And so I think, right, I need to up this now. Because what I don't want to do is go to the golf course and feel like I've got to stand on it every single time. So we started working on my speed, and I was able to get the speed up to about 118, 117, pretty nicely, which has moved my cruising speed up to around 112, 113, which is great. And to do that, I was hitting balls really just once or twice a week, just with a mindset of moving the club head as fast as I could, not worrying about accuracy, strike, and so forth, just speed. And then with the Rotex motion and with some of Tom's guidance on some of the pieces, like one of the pieces for me is to, on my long drive swing or my longer swing, is to feel like I get my left knee behind the golf ball on the backswing. So what that does is that makes me turn a lot further. So my left heel comes off the ground. And then on the way down, it's really just a mindset thing that I got from one of our other coaches, Chris Steele at Five Iron, one of our other coaches who's also racked a clubhead speed of over 130 miles per hour, was to feel like I'm smashing the golf ball into 20 pieces. So that's my only 2 thoughts. Left knee behind the golf ball on the way back, which gets me a big turn, allow the left heel to come up, and then smash the golf ball into pieces on the way down. And I was able to register this week multiple shots over 120 miles per hour clubhead speed, which I was really pleased with, and nearly got to 180 ball speed. So just for context, around the beginning of the summer, my ball speed was around 160 miles per hour. If I really stepped on it, it was getting to my mid 160s. I'm now high 160s cruising. If I focus in, I can get 170 ball speed pretty easily on the golf course, and my max ball speed is now up in the high 170s, nearly 180. And they tend to say that it's about 1.5 yards to 2 yards for each mile per hour ball speed. So yeah, I've been really happy with this journey. And you know what, we're going to get Tom on for a pod, because I think it'll be really insightful, and I think he'll give all of us some really good stuff on how to hit the ball further. But I'll leave you with this on the distance part of it. There are 3 elements to good golf, and 2 of the elements I believe we work on and golfers work on almost every day, and that is contact. Contact's the most important one. Ball first, ball then ground divot with an iron, centre strike with a driver. That's the big one. Then the next thing we're always aware of that. And the next thing we work on is it going straight? We go to the driving range. Is the ball going right? Is it going left? That's obviously another very, very important pillar. And we practice that. So we practice hitting it straight. We practice getting a contact. But I don't think that we isolate hitting the ball far and upping the speed. So it's important to every now and again spend 20 minutes of your practice, or if you're lucky enough to practice 3 times a week, think about this as a routine. One of your practice sessions should be just getting good ball contact, not worrying where it's going, left or right, not worrying about the speed. So that might be slow swings, chipping balls away, working contact. One session should be controlling your curve? Am I fading it? Am I drawing it? Not worrying about distance, not worrying about contact too much, but a bit more on where's the club face pointed in relation to the path, and can I control the curve? And do that in isolation. And the last session, or session number 3, is going to be, I don't care where I strike this with a driver. I don't care if the ball goes left or right. What I need to know is, am I swinging it faster? And isolate it and swing the club as hard as you can for about 20 minutes, then rein it in. Then go back to your other pieces. But make a piece of your practice in isolation. And what we do in the TrackMans is, and Tom has been very good with this, is we turn the visual screen off for the ball flight and just have the numbers. So we just put clubhead speed, sometimes clubhead speed and ball speed, and that's it. So you don't know where the ball's going, you're just giving it a rip and standing on it and moving as fast as possible. And it's amazing how your mind changes just from turning off the shot tracer screen and removing that and just focus on moving fast. The speed jumps up, and then that makes you, and then when you go back to putting the tracer back on, what you feel is smooth is now normally much faster than when you started. So, really get tie into that, and it's definitely something that's going to help bring down your scores. We had a short game last week, long drive this week, and let's get Tom on, and he can give us some really good insight on how to hit the ball much, much further. So to round up now, just keep the flow going, we've got 3 questions. So a couple of these questions from a couple of weeks ago, I'm just getting back around to them now. At Logie Golf 2017, how are you, mate? How to reset after a bad shot. So I spent some time just recently with Lynn Marriott and Pia Nielsen, who have a really good academy audiobook method called Vision 54. And is it Vision 54 or Performance 54? I'll check it out. Performance 54. Anyway, I should know that. I listened to all their books. I'm getting mixed up with the Live 54 people. So they did a really good job in categorizing how to approach a shot, how to hit the shot, and how to deal with the shot afterwards. So you have the future part of it. So you're planning what to do. Then you have the in the moment part. Right, now I'm in there doing it. And then the last piece, which was being retrospective and thinking about what did I do there. So the point that really resonated with me, and I would share this with anybody trying to get better or going out to play tomorrow, would be to categorize each of your shots in 4 categories. And when you play a shot, after you played it, it's either a great shot in the hole 1 foot away. It's a good shot, which might be, your 7-iron goes to 10 feet. It's pretty much how you visioned it. It's come down nice. I'm really happy with that. Then you've got good enough, which might be you might thin the ball along the ground. Ball gets on the green. It's up there. It's good enough. You might have towed the head out of your driver, but it's in play. That's good enough. And all those 3 shots attach a positive emotion to. Enjoy them. The ball's gone pretty much where you intended. And then the 4th one will be the poor shot. Now, the key here is do not attach a negative emotion to that poor shot. Be objective about it. So we're not trying to blank it out, pretend it didn't happen. We're acknowledging it, being aware of it, but label it. So you go, okay, I just, that was the wrong club. Or I rushed my pre-shot routine a bit too much. Or, that shot keeps creeping in because I worked with my coach and I did this. I know I need to keep working on that. Just label it and speak it out loud if you have to, just to keep that context. And you know what? And you'll really enjoy your round. You know when you have a round of golf and you feel like you play a few bad shots early on and then your mood dips off and your game gets worse and worse and worse and worse. I really implore you to try this. Don't attach a negative emotion to your poor shots. Remain objective and attach positive emotions to your good shots. Fist pump if you have to. And I think you'll enjoy your golf a lot more very quickly. So that's how to reset after a bad shot. I've covered the bit on how to hit the ball further. And then the other part is training aids and AI. So training aids are a really good way of controlling the environment which you practice in. I keep promising I'm going to do more videos on some training aids that I use. And I really like them because you get no leeway. what I notice with a lot of people when I coach them is we'll put something in the way. So let's say someone's shanking it, right at the heel. So I'm going to go ahead and put a head cover just on the outside, on the toe of the club, or some sort of, I've got this thing called the strike wedge, like a rubber orange thing. It creates like a mini wall, and you put the ball near to that, and you get the person towing it, and they'll maybe hit 3 or 4 shanks, control the environment, put the object in the way. They hit 2 or 3 shots pretty good, and then they knock it out of the way and go back and start shanking it. Oh, what have I done? And what's happening is that everyone's looking for the really quick fix. When I'm actually thinking, you know what? You told me you've been struggling. You then show me right here, and you give me evidence that you're shanking it, your technique's not working. Then you've showed me that when we put something in the way, you don't shank it. Right. Just because you've hit 2 or 3 shots doesn't mean that the whole history of that heel strike is gone. Realistically, this needs to be your routine for the next month or 2 months to ingrain these new moves and move how you have to. Because sometimes the lesson is, I'm going to tell you to move like this, and you do it and it gets better. Sometimes it's going to be, you know what, let's agree this is what you're doing wrong. Let's control the environment, and then let's work together, and you tell me what you're doing differently to be able to make that move, to make good contact, and then we can grain that in. I can keep reminding you of it. I can keep you on track, and maybe give you some small nuanced ways to really invigorate that feeling you're getting, and also justify it to you. Also give you reasons why that's working. Because if you know, everyone's pretty smart. If you give people a reason why something works or why it doesn't work, then they'll buy into it. Whereas sometimes you get a quick tip, but you don't know the reason why it works, as soon as it doesn't work, it's off. So my style of coaching is very much to educate people. First and foremost, try and make people go from someone that comes from having a golf lesson to someone who knows what they're doing. Then the next part is to help them find something that they can play with on the golf course and enjoy their golf. You know, my background as a player has taught me that some things you can work on and you need to work on in the background, but they absolutely do not work on the golf course. But over time, you need to get better. And some things you can work on in a lesson or in a practice session, and you take that straight to the first tee. So that's that part of it. Then, yeah, you know what, I'm going to leave it there for now. We've covered a fair bit there. I'm going to look forward to the feedback on the Jon Rahm discussion, and then also on what you think about the long drive stuff, and does that help? Is there any other little tips that you used? And we will get Tom on the pod as soon as possible. But thank you very much for listening. Everyone enjoy your golf this coming week, and yeah, see you around about this time next week.